Hey, how you doing? I'd like to get my thoughts on the Microsoft. I don't know anything about Microsoft, anything that's going on with them right now, because as you all know, he or they posted their reveal of the system, and I think that the internet kind of blew a hissy fit over that. That was mad disappointing. That was very very disappointing. Sorry, I'm trying to concentrate here with the thing, but yeah, it was really disappointing, and I know a lot of people gave their thoughts about it, and yeah, I'd like to too. So I don't know. What do I think about this thing? I don't know. I've never been a fan of Microsoft. I've never been a fan of the Xbox. Personally, I think that it's ridiculous that you have to pay for online, since the PlayStation 3 already does that same thing without, for free. PlayStation Plus is optional, and that's not even, it's fully optional. You get, like, I guess, a couple of freebies, but that's, like I said, well, not necessarily freebies, but you get to keep games for a bit, and I think they take it away. I'm not too sure. I never owned it, but I'm sure that they don't give you any freaking fee to play online. That's this, it's ridiculous to me. But I find that I don't know, the whole Xbox One thing, which is, I'm sorry, it's a silly name. I don't know why. I don't know who picked that, but that's not the most appealing. Not like Xbox 360 was. At least that sounded a little cool. But I don't know. I mean, the conference started out with them saying Xbox One, which is kind of disappointing. Everyone thought Xbox 360, or 720, sorry. Everyone thought Xbox Fusion, Infinity, or just Xbox. It would have been fine if they just called it Xbox, but whatever. I think, I don't know. That was kind of disappointing about that. But that was just the beginning. They just showed just television stuff, and I think that's what really kicked them in the ass this whole time. The television stuff, that was just unnecessary. That was, to us gamers, it wasn't important at all. It was not a new Halo, it was not a new Forza or whatever games that they have to show there. It wasn't that, and it was just really disappointing. They talked about the apps. They talked about how powerful this thing can be. How you can switch through television, movies, Skype call really quick. That was, that was okay. Whatever. I was waiting for them to talk about games and what I guess kind of what the system can do besides the television stuff. I wasn't going in there getting excited for that. I expected it, they always trying to push the Kinect thing, but I don't know. I didn't think they were gonna push it this hard, I guess. I don't know. What else can you say? It was just TV. It was just television. It was just that, and I can't really think of anything positive out of the event. I guess at least they did show the console, but it looks huge. It just looks really big. It just looks unnecessarily big. It looks like what does it look like? I know a lot of people have been saying the VCR, which it does. It looks like a giant ass VCR, but it looks just even bigger than the original PlayStation 3. Man, that thing is huge. I have a little spot under my television, but it can barely fit that. It's just huge. Well, put this in perspective. I could fit both my PlayStation 3 and my Wii U. Like, I could squeeze that in there, but that thing, it just looks like it might, it's just, if I put that on there, I couldn't fit either one of them on there for sure. It just looks that big on top of having to connect, in which that was another bad idea. Having the Kinect there, all the time. you can't start the system up. From what I heard, you cannot start the system up without the Kinect. You always have to have that thing on, and or you always have to have that thing there. It's kind of like how the Nintendo Wii, or not Wii U, Wii was. You always had to have the little sensor bar in order to turn on the thing. You could turn on the system, but you couldn't really navigate through anything unless you had the classic controller. But you can't have the damn thing without it. It's just stuck to it. It's like a freaking embryo or some shit. It's just tagged. It's just there for the ride, the whole time. And which of course they didn't say that. We had to find that out. People had to ask them through freaking interviews in order to get the real information from them. And I think that's what's really pissing people off. Like one of them. That's not the biggest thing, but one of the things that's really pissing people off is just that crap has to be there all the time, and no one liked the first one. So I don't know why they're pushing so hard. But here's something crazy though. This thing, it can read your heart monitor. I mean, it's a heart monitor. It can read your heart rate. It can see in the dark, basically. If this thing has infrared sensors, I think, inside of it in the camera, so it can track you at nighttime or when it's dark, whatever. And what else can this do? It's more, of course, it's more powerful than the last Kinect. This one is, it can read joints and body movements much better than the last one. So hopefully we won't get those crappy ass Kinect Animal games, which I know that's a long shot. We're gonna get Kinect Animals 2.0 for launch, I bet. But I guess I don't know what else was there. I'm trying to think. This is off the top of my head. But what else did they had? They had the Kinect, of course, which nobody cared about. Really, nobody cared about the Kinect. They still don't. And well, actually, you know what? Here's another thing. People care more now because whenever you buy the system, it has to be there, but it cannot be turned off. Or rather, you can turn it off, but I think it's always listening, which I think is a new report that came out today, I think, or sometime. That is always listening to you. It may not be able to track you in itself, but it's always listening or something like that, something crazy. What else is the bad? What else is, well, it's hard to think of something good, really, but what else was there? Besides the thing listening to you all the time, of course. There's the DRM, the digital rights management, or basically the crap that's gonna make you harder for people who like to buy used games, or like to trade games, or like to borrow games from their friends. Microsoft does not want you to do that. They don't. They're explicitly telling you no now with this system, because you cannot. I guess you could technically, or you still can play used games, but there's a fee to play these used games. Either being, I've heard somewhere between like $5-10 if you buy it used. You have to play this. You're at like a paywall. But I've also heard that you have to pay full price for the game. So I guess that defeats the used game market. For all the developers not getting the money. There you go. You get your money, but I don't think anyone is really gonna want to do that, man. Like, it defeats the purpose of buying these games. It defeats the purpose of even borrowing games. I know a lot of things today are online. Play with your friends, whatever, online. There's not much of going to people's houses anymore and playing that. I know that. But people still like to borrow stuff. Back in high school, people still borrow games. When I was there, they traded it right between the hallway or right during class. They traded their games in, or traded it with their friends, and that was cool. And I traded a couple of games with my friends too. But I know that online stuff you can play with your friends, whatever, and that's fine, whatever. But I like to I personally like to be more in contact with a person. I like to talk with them. I like to borrow a game really quick, and you just can't do that. What I'm saying, with this Xbox One. And that's, I think that's what's really pissing people off, especially since you have to pay to play the damn thing. Even if it's just borrowing it for one day, you have to pay the damn thing. I think. I'm not too sure, and they're being very, they're not handling this very well, because nobody can seem to answer this question very properly. Everyone just wants to know how is this thing gonna, how is used games gonna be, and they just won't answer it correctly. I think that they're giving mixed messages. Really, they're just plain old not being clear, which is it's surprising. Especially from Microsoft. I think that they're usually a bit more explicit than other companies are. They're being very Nintendo. The Nintendo usually doesn't answer questions like this, but they're different. They usually tell their workers, like, hey, say this, saying, except, but Microsoft is just having all types of different things going on. So, I mean, they're being even more convoluted than Nintendo is with sharing things with their customers. I think that I got everything. I can't remember anything else. Excuse me for that. So I'm not. Let me think really quick if I'm missing anything. That they did talked about the controller. The controller is the same damn controller from last time. Don't let them fool you with the whole 40 changes, whatever. It's the same damn controller. They just fixed that D-pad that was horrendous from last time. That's all that they did. That's all that they did. They may have made it look a little bit different, but that's all they did. They had a couple different buttons for the start and select, but that's it. They didn't change much. Oh yeah, the bumpers too. The bumpers and the triggers are different, but it's not too different. I mean, I think it still holds the same. They're a little bit more rounded, so it's not sharp, I think. And they have vibrations in the actual triggers now. Which, when they talked about that was the only exciting part of the thing. Like, when you talk about the controller, unless you're Nintendo, I guess, when the whole theme is the controller. But if you just talk about the controller and how different it is, and that's the most exciting part of your conference, there's something wrong, But yeah, I think that's it, with the Microsoft thing. They did say that they're gonna have dedicated servers, which is really good. But yeah, besides that, I don't think I think that's it. They handled their conference really poorly. If I can, take a stab at, what people are feeling, it's betrayal. They only talked about, Watch Dogs, some weird game called Remedy, not Remedy, made by Remedy, called Quantum Theory or Quantum Break. Nobody seems to know how to say that damn name, by the way. So, excuse me, I'm sorry. The game didn't look that interesting. It looked like, not Destiny. It looked like that game that Sony's trying to make, Lost Souls, or, I forgot the name. Now I forgot their name. But, the game that they're coming out with at the end of the year, Beyond Two Souls. And, it looks like that. It looks like Sony's version, or Microsoft version of that game. And I don't think anybody cared. It's just, it just didn't look interesting, I think they talked about one more game, probably. I don't know. Microsoft has, basically no IPs, so nothing too interesting. I think Forza, that's right, Forza came out. They're talking about that game, and it didn't look too interesting. And they talked about Call of Duty, which is, we all knew that was coming, and it's not that special because it's coming to the PlayStation 4, it's coming to PlayStation 3, it's coming to the PlayStation, it's coming to Xbox 360, it's coming to the Wii U. I think they said it's coming to Wii U. But Call of Duty comes to everything. It's not that exciting, But it was very insulting to the gamers that were loyal to Sony or Microsoft, so, whatever. I think I'm out of time, so thank you for your time, and hope you enjoyed this. Bye.